You know that a good friend of mine, Tom Waller, who heads up white space at Lululemon, Tom has always talked to me about meditation, and Tom does meditation every day, and he swears by it. And I have a lot of other people that I know in the business community who swear by meditation as something really important. So, over to you, Dr. Kollipara.
Great. Thank you very much, Alan. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing? For a gloomy Monday morning, actually sun is out, so that's nice, right? Helps us activate a little bit. In fact, I'm truly honored and humbled to be in front of such an amazing audience. KPMG, I know, is a world-class leader, and I'm truly humbled to be in front of such an amazing audience. I actually did not know that you had this 4-element theme, and then today is the spiritual element. In fact, the ancient wisdom classifies this whole existence into 5 elements. 4 elements are right, earth, air, water, and fire. There is a 5th element. Can anyone guess what it is? There is actually an element. No. Metal is made up of solid. Energy, yeah. Ether, there you go. Space, emptiness. Emptiness. There is this nothingness in the cosmos, in the universe. When you look up, there is this nothingness. And that's what we call cosmos, universe. In fact, there is this phenomenal book written by Dr. Lawrence Krauss, is a theoretical physicist from Caltech. The title of the book is Universe from Nothing. And he actually proves with physics how we are actually nothing. When we break down at a micro level, we are nothing. You all know that our body is made up of trillions of cells. In the cells we have all kinds of minerals, right? Calcium, potassium, sodium. If you go further down, what is it made up of? Atoms. Further down, electrons, protons, neutrons, right? I'm not teaching you a science class here, but getting you connected to that nothingness. And what they found is when you further break down the subatomic particles, you find quarks, and then you go further down, there is this empty space. And he calls this empty space nothingness, but it is actually not nothingness, but brewing all these particles from that empty space. In fact, the weight of the atom comes from that nothingness. It's not the electrons, it's not the protons, not the neutrons, but it is the emptiness, that empty space which gives weight to an atom. So we are basically nothing. So that's my spirituality 101. So I represent this non-profit called Peace Tree Innovation Society, which I co-founded about 13 years back. Center for Wellness and Oneness. Our mission has been to switch the mic. Oh, okay.
Can you hear back there?
Can everyone hear? All right, excellent. So, Wellness and Oneness, our mission has been to help individuals, families, and organizations heal, especially with so much of mental illness out there. We are working with all kinds of organizations to help people create that wellness from stress, anxiety, depression, you name it. Most of the lifestyle diseases are self-inflicted, mostly coming from self-destructive attitudes. So we've been also in many organizations. Last year we were invited to UN and World Health Organization, and we have presented to the delegates and directors there, and phenomenal results from the work that we've been doing. So with that introduction, we're going to start this session with a quiz. So I'm not sure if you can see it from back there, because a lot of light reflecting. It's a very simple question. Which of this is an original Mona Lisa painting? The one on that side or this side? This one? Or this one? This one. Right? This one. Okay. How were you able to come to that conclusion? Sorry?
More proportional.
More original? What aspect of it?
More proportional. It just looks not as stretched out.
Not as stretched out. Isn't it the classic Mona Lisa smile that kind of makes it Look like Mona Lisa smile. I'm really sorry because of the light reflecting. I don't think a lot of people are able to see, but the Mona Lisa portrait makes its impact because of that classic Mona Lisa smile. You agree? That subtle, simple smile on that lips is what Mona Lisa is all about. And now I have an exercise for you. Now that you answered that question, I want you all to bring that subtle smile onto your lips and stay that way for the next 1 hour. Is that possible? Can you do that? For 1 hour? Why? Why you cannot do that? Why we can't keep that smile continuously for 1 hour? Okay.
I don't smile when I think.
When you think, there you go. We got the answer right there. Because our mind is constantly thinking. It's wandering, going into the past, into the future, never wanting to be in the present moment. That is why we cannot keep that smile for 1 hour. If I was sitting on the other side, I know physically I would be here, but mentally I would be thinking about stuff that happened yesterday, stuff that happened before you left the home, stuff that you need to get done after you leave here, your deadlines. That's the nature of mind. Like a monkey wandering constantly, jumping from tree to tree. And that is why it is very difficult to keep that smile. But yet, I would request you all to please bring those smiles. There are two benefits to it. Number one, it's a great mindfulness technique that you can use at any time of the day. When you bring that smile, no matter where your mind is wandering, it drops into the present moment. And you can use this technique while you're working, while you're taking bath, while you're cooking, while you're reading, just to be with you in the now. And then the second benefit is, there is something called facial feedback research. This was done by Charles Darwin in 1800s. And he says that the type of emotion that you carry on your face is constantly read by your brain and sends the signals to the rest of the body. So when you smile, even though if it's a fake smile, it relaxes you instantly. It triggers a system called parasympathetic nervous system. And it relaxes, brings your heart rate to normal, blood pressure to normal. A simple technique that you can use. So please everyone, can I see those smiles? I know it's hard for some of us. But please, fake it till you make it, right? So with that smile. So with that, we are going to get into the core topic. What makes an effective team? What makes an effective team? Pardon? I didn't hear that.
Smiles.
Smiles, yeah, that's true. What are the qualities that you think of that makes an effective team?
Communication.
Communication, okay.
Diversity.
Sorry?
Diversity.
Diversity, yes.
Trust.
Trust, very nice. Trust. Anyone else? Backbenchers, I know. I've been there. Yes. Psychological safety, collaboration, connection, beautiful, authenticity, vulnerability, openness, responsibility, accountability, all of these things, right? But yet, many times we have the challenge, even in like a small team. We have a mission, vision that we want to accomplish, but yet there are so many issues, challenges that we go through. In fact, a great example of teamwork is your body. If you look at your body, it starts as a single cellular organism, zygote in the mother's womb. And it diversifies itself into trillions of cells, which makes this complex organism. But yet, working together, the cells in the eye know what to do. The cells in the ear know what to do. The cells in your brain, they are different, but they know what to do. But they are all orchestrating together to run this complex being efficiently. And not only that, we have a great symbiosis happening in our body. Has anyone heard about microbiome? Microbiome is this trillions of microorganisms living in your body, bacteria, most of them in your gut. And the research found that there are 10 times more microorganisms in your body than your human cells. 10 times more. So let's say your body is made up of 1 trillion cells. There are 10 trillion bacteria and fungi living in your system, without which you cannot digest your food, and the food cannot be absorbed into your system. That's teamwork right there. In fact, we are not human beings, we are a colony of microorganisms. Aren't we? There are more microorganisms in us than human cells. But yet, when we come into this world, we fail to take that symbiosis, that teamwork into our organizations. And there is a reason, because we people, like someone said, are diverse. We come with very different types of psychological thinking. And I call this as 3 aspects of diversity. There are people, you can classify people into these 3 areas. There are people who work from the own space. These are called own people, people who are all about me and mine. Very selfish, self-centered, right? Own, always worried about themselves. And there are people who belong to the known category. The known people are selfish, but they are more like friends with benefits. You know, I'll do this for you, you do this for me, right? That's the known category. And then the third one is the unknown. These are the kind of people who go beyond the call and duty. It doesn't matter, they don't need a title, they just want to help reach out and contribute to whatever it takes selflessly to get to that final goal. And we call this conscious behavior because these are the people who are highly self-aware, highly conscious about their emotions, about how they behave, how they think, how their actions impact others. And the known and unknown people, I classify them as unconscious because they're not conscious about their behaviors. And you might be wondering, why we have people with these different personalities? And the answer lies in the evolution. We evolved from a single-cellular amoeba into a different kind of species, fish, birds, mammals, and then whom we are today. And we carry the footprint of that evolution in our brains. The brain that we see, that we have, is not one brain, but it's made up of 3 brains because we're a product of evolution. You see the bottommost, I know if you can see in the back out there, but the bottom portion right here, the orange color, is called the reptilian brain. That's exactly how the brain looks like in a reptile, and we carry that footprint in our brain. And that's responsible for basic survival of the fittest instincts. Feeding, aggression, dominance, sex, that's it. No emotions, no connectivity. And a lot of us use that. Of course, we need that instinct when you are in a real threat in the world. But unfortunately, today, in the world that we live, we create these imaginary subconscious fears. And we keep triggering that constantly. We are all abusing that fight or flight mechanism, which is leading to most of the illness that we see out there today. It's all lifestyle based. And now the second part of the brain, the center portion right here, the green color, is also called the limbic system, or the emotional part of the brain. That's the center for these 2 important parts of the brain called amygdala and hippocampus. Anyone heard about those? Amygdala, right? Yeah. Amygdala is this part of the brain which is constantly perceiving for threat, and it gets triggered even if there is an imaginary threat. And hippocampus is your memory system. And that's the center for your emotions. That's where we store all these emotions. And we humans tend to live a lot in that emotional entanglement. And then the top portion is the neocortex. That's what makes us humans. It's the center for self-awareness, self-regulation, willpower, creativity, meaning, purpose, decision-making, free will. All these amazing qualities that makes us humans is centered in that neocortex. So that is exactly the reason why we see people coming from different types of thinking, different styles of functioning. And you might be wondering, well, if that's the case, then is there a way to change it? Can we actually change it? Yes, we can. Yes, you get a brain that you come into this world with, but then you can change that with what is called neuroplasticity. It's a new area of neuroscience research. This is Dr. Donald Hebb. I'm not sure if you can see very clear, but he's considered the father of neuropsychology. He says that your mental states become neural traits. Day after day, your mind is building your brain. Very powerful. It's not the other way. You can reprogram your brain with how you think, how you process your thoughts. And he goes on to say that neurons that fire together wire together. Every time there is a thought process, there is an electrical impulse that is generated in your brain. Thoughts are nothing but electrical energy. And they travel between these two neurons. So let's say you have this fight or flight thought, constantly triggering the same stress response. So these electrical impulses bring those neurons together, and then you repeat the same thought, the electrical impulse travels again between those neurons and it brings them together. So it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So what they have found in the research is that amygdala, which is your threat response, it increases in size for people who live in chronic stress. But then the beauty is you can reverse that, and that's what is neuroplasticity. It can mend it and bend it the way you want by practices like mindfulness, meditation, and a lot of other things. But then the problem is, mind is a very complex organism. It's a complex machine. The mind that we think we have is not just one mind. It's made up of multiple things. So to demystify the mind, I know a lot of you cannot see it, but I'll try to speak to it. So we have this intention in our day-to-day life. Like we want to do certain things, it all starts with an intention, right? I want to do this, I want to do that. And that intention becomes an action. But before it becomes an action, there's a lot of processing that goes on in the middle. There are your senses, your eyes, ears, skin, all these sense organs feeding information from the external environment into your mind. And these are impulses that trigger different types of behavior. And they're impulses coming from your subconscious memory. And the subconscious memory is made up of all your past experiences, conditioned thoughts, conditioned behaviors. That's where we store all of that. So now they act on that intention, and then we have all these vices of anger, greed, false ego, jealousy, which pollute this pure intention. So even though we have good intentions, many times we are not able to translate them into actions because of this complex machine called mind. In fact, Dr. Chris Agres, he is considered father of organizational behavior. He calls this ladder of inference. Basically exactly the same thing. We have a fact in front of us, but before we put it into action, we add so much stuff to it. We see through different lenses. We assume, we make our own assumptions based on our subconscious conditioning and our vices and the impulses. So most of the times our actions do not convey the intentions. So how do we break that? So you break that ladder of inference by challenging those assumptions. So questioning, is this really what I wanted to do? Becoming aware of yourself, your thoughts. And then removing those filters and seeing the data as it is. And then we move from this clutters to clarity. There is this pure intention that I Everyone carries, we all say, I did this, right? I is actually a common factor in all of us if you look at it. Have you ever questioned what is that I?